Hi, welcome back to the Power BI for Schools beginner course. Part 5, the ribbon tour. I'm just going to take you on a brief tour through the ribbon up the top to explain just very briefly what things do, so you know what to Google, what to research if you want to take your knowledge further. Okay, so here we've got means of getting data. So via the Get Data ribbon, you can pull in data from Excel, CSV, or web sources. You can enter data here directly into a table. As I've said before, it's generally a terrible way of entering static data, so I don't recommend it, although it is useful for making measure tables. If you do want to enter static data, then I recommend using the data table function in DAX, and I've got a post about that if you search the website. Transform data. This is how you load Power Query, which is what you use for adjusting your data sources on their way into Power BI. Refresh refreshes data from the data sources. Adding a new visual, a new text box. Pretty self-explanatory. More visuals, so you can import different Power BI visuals. There's like a little app store called the App Source. So if you don't find what you're looking for here, always worth having a look there. New measure, quick measure. This is a sort of tool for helping you write measures. Obviously, Power BI is a business tool, so I found that very geared towards kind of business type applications. I don't use it. I don't think it's very useful. And publish. So this is where you publish your finished reports to the web service. Okay, on the Insert tab, okay, we've got a new page. What I generally do, because I have stuff like this, if I want a new page, is right click here and duplicate an existing one. Q&A, key influencers, and the decomposition tree are what BI calls AI visuals. Very interesting to play with. Key influencers, what it does is you enter some kind of category, like for example, if you've got a yes/no for persistent absentees, and then you enter a load of fields that might influence that, so like ethnicity, pupil premium, distance from school, and what it does is it calculates for the number of kids you have in these groups, are they over or underrepresented in that persistent absentee category. The decomposition tree is again another way of exploring things that go into a measure, gives the user a lot of control. Again, if you search, I've got a post on that. Power Apps are, so that's an integration, mostly for if you want to use BI for getting data in. Text box does what it says on the tin. Buttons are very useful, especially the blank button, because you can add text. So you can say that, you know, so you can say equals adds button. Okay, and obviously you can make buttons do things, but I'll come to that. Shapes, so I generally use this for lines, for breaking up and then inserting and image. Okay, on the modeling tab, you can manage relationships just from a list. You don't need to go to the model screen. I generally prefer the model screen to this, but each their own. Again, new measures, new columns, new table. So you could, as well as using DAX to make measures and calculated columns, you can use DAX to make tables. And again, if you go further through my course, we've got examples of why you would want to do that. Making a new parameter, that is pretty much a sort of specialized form of making a table. Not that useful though, in my opinion. Security. Okay, so if you are a Power BI Pro user and you're going to be sharing to other Power BI Pro users, you can create what's called row-level security, which restricts what people, the data that people can see. So for example, I've used this with Mats, where they share with people who can only see the data from their school. The way this works is you create security roles that filter tables in your model, and then on the web service, when you share with other people, you assign them there to the roles you've created. And then this is relating to the Q&A. Q&A, question and answer, is obviously for natural language interrogation of your data, which is not something I have a lot of experience in. I imagine it's quite tricky to set up and get right. Okay, on the View tab, you can choose a theme. So this is basically what affects the default colors that appear in visuals. So you can choose one of the pre-made themes. You can also, if you have school colors, customize your theme. So you'd save it to a JSON file, and then you edit the hex codes in that JSON file. Okay, so these are how you want to view the page. Mobile layout, so you can design a different setup for when users view Power BI on the mobile. You do that through there. You can add grid lines, snap to grid, and lock objects. That's obviously affecting how visuals behave when you lay them out on the screen. Okay, the filters. This opens the filter pane on here, where you can add filters, and it's basically an alternative. You can also add what are called slicers onto the main page. Basically, your trade-off there is obviously slicers are more visible to the users, but they take up more space, whereas filters are sort of hidden away, which is a plus and a minus. Selection. I'm going to come back to bookmarks. Selection first shows you all of the elements you have on a particular page, and here with the little eye, whether they're hidden or you can see them. So for example, if I click this little eye, you bring back the image from my measure video. And the other thing that selection is doing is setting the layer order. So you see my button here, that's above this picture in this list, which means it's appearing on top of the picture. If we drag it down to the bottom, then it'll disappear because now it's behind the picture. Bookmarks. What bookmarks allow you to do, bookmarks are kind of like a snapshot of a particular state of the report, and they control what's visible and not visible. They can control or not the selection of filters and slicers, and these are what you can assign to buttons as actions. So you can press a button and certain visuals are hidden and appear. Performance Analyzer, if you have slow queries, what this does is it shows you how long each query is taking to render, and you can also We actually don't have any DAX on this page, but you can use this to copy the queries. And there's a debugging program called DAX Studio. You can download and debug in there. And then sync slices, what this does is if you have slices on one page, you can make them show on different pages and sync them so that if somebody selects a slice on one page, then they can move to the next page, the same filter will apply. And that's it for the ribbon tool and for the beginner course. I hope you found it helpful and that it's given you the tools you need to start creating models and content in BI. If you check out the intermediate section of the website, there's a sample dashboard you can download and play with, and lots of posts of the next things to learn on your BI journey. Thanks for studying with me. Cheers, bye.